Hey, this is Todd, Red River Tactical and Outdoors. Been getting a lot of questions here lately about people wanting to buy their first gun. This is Easter 2020, right in the middle of all this coronavirus stuff. So now's a bad time to really buy a gun, I'll just be honest with you. But a lot of people's wanting to buy their first gun. So I've been getting emails, texts, phone calls. I do concealed carry classes and I do firearms training, so people are calling me. So what I want to do in this video is try to give you a rundown on if you've already bought your first gun or if you're thinking about buying a gun. First thing I want to cover is if you're thinking about buying a gun. First thing you need to know, you need to ask yourself is, what's this gun going to be used for? If it's going to be used for home defense, is it going to be used for personal self-defense? Or is it going to be used to like protect a business or something like that, where you're not going to carry it? First off, I would normally say that if it was going to be used for home defense and if it was going to be a gun that you wasn't going to carry all the time, I would go with an AR-15. Because an AR-15 has less penetration than a shotgun would, about the same penetration as a handgun, but it's very simple to use, very light recoil. Kids can use it, women can shoot it fine. It's easy for them. The only reason I wouldn't suggest an AR-15 right now at this time in our economy is prices on these AR-15s. They're gouging people and prices have shot through the roof. Just about everybody's doing it. And a lot of these companies that's not really price gouging, they're getting gouged by the people making them. So the gun prices are going up considerably on the AR-15 market. An AR-15 that you could have purchased 2 months ago at $400 to $500, you're now looking between $800 and $900 for that AR-15. And that's what I'm seeing. There might be some places out there that still has them for a fairly reasonable rate. You can look, if you can find them, buy them, but don't pay outrageous amounts for them. So if you can't find an AR-15 and you're still wanting home defense or defense of a building or something where you're not going to be carrying it, I would say go with a 12 or 20 gauge shotgun. 12 or 20 gauge, both will be fine. Either will be fine. Make sure it's got about an 18.5-inch barrel. Get a pump shotgun. Pump shotgun right now you can expect to pay between $250 and $400 for it. Look for Mossberg or Remington. There's other brands out there. Mossberg and Remington have really good home defense shotguns. Thing about shotguns is you need to get good with working them, being able to manipulate them and all that stuff. So buy birdshot to practice with. Practice with birdshot only. Once you get that thing in defensive mode, you want double-aught buck or slugs in it. And that's period. Buy some double-aught buck, buy some slugs. Shoot a few of those through there to see how that double-aught buck is patterned, to see where your slug is hitting when you aim. Do the rest of your practice with birdshot. And then you can put that double-aught buck or slug back in the shotgun. That's for home defense, protecting a business or whatever. So if you want a gun to protect yourself, self-protection, then you're going to want a gun you can conceal. So then you're going to want to get a handgun. Now the thing is, you don't just go to the store and buy a handgun and a box of bullets and say you're set. If you buy a handgun, you have to buy a holster. You have to, because you don't carry handguns in your pockets, in your purse, or anywhere like that. It has to be in a holster. Even if you're a woman and you're going to carry a handgun in your purse, it has to be in a holster. Because anything can get in there and pull the trigger, cause you to shoot yourself or somebody else, and you don't want to do that. So you want to buy a good quality holster. A good quality holster is going to cover the trigger guard to where you can't get in there to pull the trigger no matter what. It's going to hold the gun so it won't fall out. If you fall upside down or turn a flip, it's going to hold the gun. But it's also going to release the gun when you need it. Also, you need to look at really a good belt, a gun belt. There's a difference between a belt you buy at Walmart and a gun belt. A gun belt, I'm going to pull this shirt up for a minute and show you. So this is a fully loaded gun, ready to go. And I put it in this holster. And if you watch the belt, If you watch the belt, when I put it in this holster, it don't move. It stays there because this is a gun belt. Now most belts, when you put a heavy gun, or when you put a gun on them and they don't support, you'll see that belt drop down and sag. That makes it very uncomfortable to carry a gun. So you want to look at getting a good gun belt also when you purchase a gun. As far as handguns go, 9mm across the board. I'm going to tell you why here in a minute. Well, I'll tell you now. Handguns are very ineffective at killing or stopping a threat. Most of the time you're going to have to shoot them 2 or 3 times before they even realize they've been hit with the handgun. And no matter if it's a 9, 40, 45, whatever, any kind of handgun caliber, all of them suck at stopping a threat. So 9mm, the reason I say 9mm, you're going to be able to find 9mm ammo anywhere. Everybody's going to have 9mm ammo. Most of your police officers, most of your, just anybody is going to be carrying 9mm. And also 9mm holds more rounds than 40 or 45, which means you get more shots through magazines. While we're on the subject of magazines, magazines are easier to find. 9mm magazines are easier to find. They're everywhere. Now let's go into what kind of guns should you buy. I'm going to recommend that if it's your first handgun, make it a Glock 19. I will tell you, in my personal opinion, I don't think a Glock 19 is the best gun in the world, but it is the #1 selling gun in the world. And here's the thing, if you own a handgun, you should own a minimum of 5 magazines to fit that handgun. Your magazine is the most vulnerable part of the handgun that goes bad. And they don't go bad a lot, but you should, if you own a handgun, you should shoot it a lot. And after you shoot a lot, sometimes magazines go bad. Glock magazines, you can get them for about $20 to $25. And like I said, they're everywhere. You can find them everywhere. Any kind of parts, holsters, lights, sights, anything you want for a Glock 19, you can get on Amazon and it's there. I mean, you can find anything because this is the #1 selling handgun in the world, and it's a Glock 19. So that would be my recommendation. You can expect to pay, if you get a brand new Glock 19, anywhere from $500 to $600 for it. That's what you can expect to pay. Now, one thing about handguns right now, I'm not seeing prices go up like I am everything else. So their prices right now are about the same as they was. But like I said, Glock 19, that's going to be the most common handgun, and that's the handgun I'd recommend anybody buy. Now, if you want to go a little bit cheaper, you don't have that $400 to $500. You want to, or $500 to $600. You want to go cheaper. We'll go down the scale a bit. And this one is actually what I think is the best handgun on the market right now. It's a CZ P10C. You can get the CZ P10C for about $300 to $400. Probably more or less about $350 to $400 for the CZ P10C. Now the problem with the CZ is, the P10C, magazines are not plentiful and they're not cheap, they're expensive. And sights, other stuff with all that, they're higher than what a Glock is. So while you're saving $100 on the gun, you are going to spend more than that $100 buying aftermarket stuff. Even holsters. Holsters are harder to find for the CZ than they are the Glock. So you got to take that into account too. If you want to go a little bit cheaper than the CZ, you can go with a Koenig. I don't have one of those out here. A Koenig, anywhere from $300 to $400. And if you want to go cheaper than that, the only thing I would recommend going with cheaper than that is a Taurus G2C. I don't recommend Taurus a lot to anybody, but that G2C, I've put 1,000 rounds to it and it runs. And you don't expect to pay over $200 for that G2C. That Taurus G2C, you can buy them just about anywhere for $200 or less. So that would be the guns that I would recommend. There's a bunch of guns out there, people. Just do your research when you're buying a gun. If you're buying a handgun, buy a holster. If you're buying an AR-15, buy a sling. If you're buying a shotgun, buy a sling. You need something to carry that with. But a holster and a good belt. That's the two things you need when you buy a handgun. So after you got your holster and your gun belt and your gun, the last thing you're going to need to find some training, some good training. So you do need to find a good quality firearms instructor. There's plenty of quality firearms instructors around. We do offer training. We offer concealed carry training. We offer basic handgun training, and we offer advanced handgun training. So if you want to come train with us, that's fine. Get with me on Facebook and it'll have all my information there. But like I said, there's all kinds of firearms trainers out there, really good ones. Do your research. Don't just go to the first firearms trainer you see. Anything else with you can work up to. Buy extra mags when you can. Well, I hope this video has been informative for you and helped you out. If you have any questions or comments, drop them below. I'll try my best to help you. This is Todd, Red River Tactical and Outdoors, reminding you to be safe and always be ready.